Yo, 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 what's up, family? How y'all living? Everybody living good? The Bro Foundation is back. You know,
Peace.
we back to bring you another, another heartfelt heat topic. Um, we like I said, we continue to appreciate everybody's support, listening, feedback that we receive. It's highly appreciated, man. So thank you
Yes.
for continuing to rock with us. Like I said, we've been doing this for a year now. And it means a lot to us. It means a lot to us. So thank you for everybody that continues to, like I said, rock with us. We definitely appreciate it. Got to give a special shout out to our brother Hen. He had some, family situations going on, couldn't tap in with us, but our hearts are with him. It's a serious matter, but said our hearts are with him. And he'll be back next week. And like I said, we know this is how it goes, man. Like life gets in life be lifing, right? Like we know what happens, life be lifing sometime, and that's just how it goes. So we continue to keep it moving, and he's here with us, but he'll be back here with us physically on the show with us next week. I'm pretty sure. So. In the meantime, between time, got the brother Complex Key, Jay Hunter in the building. How y'all living, brothers?
Beautiful, man. Life is good, and everything is good, bro. Like I can't complain, I won't complain.
Same, bro.
Or
I've been enjoying this journey, so I can't complain either.
yes, sir. I feel you, man. Like, I mean, we all could complain, but there's no reason to. You know what I mean? Like, there's no um, nothing comes from it, right? Like, this is life, bro. And we as much as we could complain, there's just that much gratitude on the other side of that as well. You know what I mean? So just like we could complain about a bunch, there's so much more we're grateful for. So that's why we don't complain about much at all because when you get just the fact that we are here breathing in front of y'all, in front of the people, like that in and of itself is enough to not even think about nothing, you know what I mean? There's like I said, there's no reason. There's absolutely no reason to complain. Um, But we're gonna get right into it. And it's kind of funny that kind of is a segue into what we are talking about today, right? Um, Suffering in silence, but also finding our strength through that suffer, right? So we're gonna tap in. That's like it's like a two-part topic today. It's one of this, it's two in one, but there's two ends of the spectrum. And so we gonna dive into it. As men, that's what we do in a sense, man. For most of the time, we suffer in silence, bro. And a lot of people don't understand what we go through on a day-to-day basis. There's like we just said, of course, there's many things that we probably could complain about. We could, you know, discuss or want to, you know, get off our chest, but for the most part, we don't. We suffer in that we suffer in that silence. And that's almost a part of what being a man is, right? Like, and I think we've spoken on this before, but as we go, everybody else goes. So if we can't keep a level head about stuff, how can we expect the people around us, especially our family, to be level headed about anything, right? As we go, like I said, if we can't control our own emotions, how can we expect the people that are near and dear to us to control theirs? right? So yeah, we're just gonna talk, like I said, that suffering in silence is something that we do, and we're gonna talk about it. And then on the other end of it, we're gonna talk about how do we find our strength through that through that pain, right? So yeah, we're gonna get right into it, man. How do y'all, you know, get through that struggle?
Yeah, man. Suffering in silence, man. Um, this is a real deep conversation. Simply, you know, it's something that we all as men. I'm gonna speak on that because that's what we are, we men. So um that's what we deal with. Like you said, man, that's what we go through. And when you think about silence, you know, that's something that can break you down, man. That can break you down if you don't have that outlet or something to be able to let that out, man. Because it's like knowing in your brain, in your mind, and understand how your body works whenever you do deal with something. It can really, like for me, for instance, like I go through a lot of different things in my mind and different changes every day. But if I know that I hold on to that, like my health start declining, things start getting different for me. I get headaches. I get all kind of different things because I'm built up with a lot of pressure. But a lot of times we don't know where to let that pressure out at. We don't have that person or and like sometimes I look at it, I view it from a different scope because I look at it like, oh, that person don't want to hear what I gotta say, man. Or this person might not be aware of what I'm feeling at the time. They might not even want to hear that shit. So a lot of times I just keep it in. So suffering is like it's something that we all don't want to feel, man. It's a badass feeling that we have when we have to suffer. You know what I mean? And whenever you look at loved ones, man, that deal with illnesses and things, that's the first thing you want to. That's the first thing you hear. I don't want to see her suffer no more. I don't want to see him suffer anymore. Because of the pain and the misery and the everything that they feel in their bodies, it's like you start to feel like, damn, I don't want to see that person go through that. You know what I'm saying? But what happens when you plan it all?
You know, you- Technical difficulties,
But
technical difficulties.
inside,
Go ahead. Okay,
it's something.
you froze up for a minute.
So a lot of times, okay. A lot of times people don't like I know how to hide my feelings a lot. So a lot of people might not know what's going on with me. I could be like happy Jesse all the time. Like, what's up? Like I walk around like nothing wrong. But in the inside, I'm built up. You know what I mean? And it's not I for the longest I thought it was like a pride issue, but it's not a pride issue. It's more like understanding. Cause I'm kind of like almost judging the opposite person, not giving them the liberty to understand my emotion or whatever I'm going through at that time. You know what I mean? Because that's why I choose not to talk about it. So that's something that we have to get better at as men. You know what I'm saying? And whenever we do go through situations, we have to allow ourselves the ability to be able to, like, you know what, man, this person might be okay talking about this or might be able to help me get through this situation. You know what I mean? So a lot of times that's what I feel, man, because it's hard, man. Like the pressures of life of being a man is so difficult at times because, especially a black man, we already have a target a lot of times. So just trying to make an honest living, trying to take care of your family, trying to be a stand-up guy, trying to be a community um, drive person to help people, and all of that's on your mind, and it's just like it just remind me of the domino effect, man. Because I used to line up the dominoes when I was young, man, and just watch them. Like I tilt one, and all of them just start falling after that. Because if you don't have yourself in order, your family can fall. Your family, everybody in that's looking up to you can fall off of your decision. So that is critical, bro. That is a big thing, man. Whenever we have these type of decisions that we have to make that can affect everybody that's behind us. You know what I'm saying? So who do you talk to? Who do you have that? Like, I'm luckily, I thank the universe every day for y'all fellas, bro. I got my brothers I can just text, hey, bro, I'm feeling some type of way. You know what I'm saying? And y'all gonna hold me accountable if it's me, y'all tell me, hey, bro, look, I see what you're saying, but this and that. That's okay, cool. I didn't see it from that perspective. Sometimes it's all about a perspective thing too. You might not see it the way that is presented to you. So you have to sit down and just analyze a lot of the stuff. So be able to release that silence. Man, because
Check, check.
will suffer. You know, but it's something on the other side of that rainbow, bro. Like that treasure is there. So you just gotta keep pushing, you gotta keep going through whatever you're going through. But there's a story behind all of it. So that's what I'm gonna start off with.
No, that's real. Like you said, the Bro Found has definitely been a place of gratitude. It's been a safe space. It's been a space of growth, and I think just being able to have this conversation itself, it allows us now to have to not suffer in silence, regardless what it is that we're going through. So I definitely think like having you all is for real, like you just said, Jesse, is has been nothing but a blessing. But just understanding the dynamic of how we even get to that point is like it's so many tiers, there's so many levels to it. And like you said, as a black man, I think it all starts from, childhood. It starts from that adolescent stage where rather you play a sport and you're not able to maybe play the position that you want, right? In so many words, this coach wants you to do this and he wants you to do it this way. Internally, that's not something what you want to do. It doesn't fit well with your persona. This is not my position. However, because I have to, abide by these rules, I can't really give my coach no pushback. I can't tell him I don't want to do this because, oh, I'm the kid, he's the coach, and I have a position to play. That's just in sports, and that can go from basketball, football. Again, you transition into school. We are told to raise our hands when we want to communicate. We can't just speak freely from our mind. We have to abide by a certain protocol to have that type of conversation. And then again, if what I'm saying is different than what the teacher is saying, then again, that's called being rebellious. That's pushback. Now it's like I'm being, the bad apple in the classroom. Fast forward it to relationships. We deal with so many things as men that now in a relationship, lack thereof, the tools to articulate ourselves. Now we're in a relationship, and this relationship is again making me feel like I have to suffer in silence because I don't feel understood. I don't feel like who I am as a person is can fully be grasped. Y'all not really understanding who I am because for so long I had to be quiet. I had to follow some type of rule. I had to move a certain way that fits somebody else's program, so to speak. But again, this is a body that I'm operating in. This is a mind that I have to use. And what I do affects my heart. So the more and more I'm now hushed in so many ways at so many stages of my life, now my heart is starting to change. It's not beating the same behind my passion. And now it's changing how I look at things, which is now my mindset. And now I'm starting to believe that I shouldn't act in this way, which again goes against my personal self. And now that becomes a behavior where now all of these things, your heart has been played with, your mind has been played with. Now there is an action, and the action is silence. The action is silence, and it started as a 7 year old to 17 to 27, and now I'm over here creating 20 some odd years of routine and habit of suffering. all because, again, I'm not able to speak out. I'm not granted the tools of articulation. I'm not able to feel safe as we all do at Profound. I'm not able to feel safe as a young black man or black boy because I'm supposed to hold myself a certain way. So I feel like when it comes down to just understanding how we suffer in silence and why we suffer in silence, again, my perspective is it started as a kid. So we just, as an adult now, I think it's our duty to understand that, to make sure that we're not passing that on, but, also, dealing with it, letting that energy flow through you. Because the more and more we hold on to whatever it is that we want to express, the longer it's going to affect us. It's just like that rope analogy. The longer you hold on to that rope, the more it's going to burn your arm or burn your hand. So I think that's kind of just like, again, the intro to it and understanding like somewhat how to navigate through it. And I think the first step is just being aware that you're suffering.
Man, y'all both hit on some key points, man. You know, when you and kind of, speaking, adding on and speaking truth to the power that both of you guys spoke. When you, just like you said, Corey, when you've done something for so long, it becomes a part of you. When you've been a certain way for so long, that actually becomes a part of your personality in a sense, right? Because you don't know nothing else. You don't know how to act any other way because you've been made to feel that you don't matter. Your feelings don't matter. They don't, you know what I mean? Like you said, from the time you're 7, actually from 4 to 14 to 34 to 44, whatever. You know what I mean? Like they say your first 7 years is what frames your foundation. That's what frames you as a person. Those first 7 years is your programming stage, right? So whatever you go through, whatever you experience, that's going to be your base from from going forward. Like that's why that is such an important age to make sure that you aren't that you are receiving the best of life, right? That's why it's so important to make sure that you are able to express, your feelings, you're able to express who you are, able to, I think Kanye was one who kind of spoke on it when he said something about the coffee table, right? When you're so young and you just expressing yourself, you might jump up on a coffee table, and then all of a sudden you got a parent or guardian or somebody telling you, "Hey, get down from that coffee table." And then from that point on, life becomes nothing but coffee tables that you're forced to get down off of because you can't express how you truly feel. You can't let people know, like, and that's where silence becomes. That's where silence comes, right? So, like I said, I was an emotional child, bro. Like I was truly, it stemmed from foundation, those first 7 years, right? Like the fact that my mom was in jail, gets out, meets my father, they get together, have me, or get together, create me. She goes back in, and she was 25 at the time, right? So you think about that, a young 25-year-old woman, and everything that's why it's important for when women are pregnant that they are as stress free as possible, that they're not going through no pain, no ill, you know what I mean? Because all those emotions are transferred into the child.
Mhm.
if she's stressed out, if she's angry, if she's, all those things. Like it all gets transferred into the child's being. And I feel like at 25 years old, she was a young, scared young woman. She was a scared young woman in prison, not sure what was gonna happen to her life after that, you know. And like I said, all those emotions were transferred into me. And so when she has me, I'm an emotional child, you know. I cried a lot when I was young. And a lot of times I was stop all that crying, stop all that crying, stop all that crying. I didn't really know no better though, because those are the emotions that were coming out of me, right? Like you don't know no better. Suck it up, be you're a boy. I'm just hurt. I'm hurting right now. That's how I'm trying to express. I'm hurting. I'm not in physical pain, so to speak, but I am in pain. And this is the only way that I know how to express it. So the more you get told that at that young age, as you continue to grow, you shut up because don't nobody care about what you got to say anyway. Nobody care how you feel anyway, right? So then, like I said, it becomes. I'm just not even gonna say nothing. I'm not even gonna express nothing. I'm not gonna
Right.
feel that way, right? Like even though I want you to, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna suffer in silence. And then that becomes a point that becomes a big part of who you are. And then like I said, I'm 45 years old now, and a lot of times I don't even really acknowledge my emotions because they've been suppressed for so long. I don't even know how to fully control them. Like I don't even know how, like, so that's why I don't I don't really get upset no more. You know what I mean? Like I don't allow myself to feel the emotions because I don't know how to, because they controlled my emotion. I was such an they controlled me so much when I was younger, and then they be told like, oh, stop all that, stop all that. How do you learn how do you figure it out? Right? Like, but when you're a child, when you're coming up, you need those people around you to help you figure it out. Okay, you're crying, you're angry. What's going on? Talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Why are you feeling this way? That has to happen at a young age because if it doesn't, you're not gonna you don't want to talk to nobody. You just shut down. You will shut down. And that's what I've done for so many years, so long. As opposed to allowing myself to feel that pain, to feel that suffer, I would just shut down. I'm not even gonna deal with it. I'll just suffer in silence because nobody cared anyway. Right? That's the feeling. And then when you get into relationships and you have you have the emotional intelligence, but yet you still don't want to express it because what if you don't get that proper response that you should receive? What if you don't get that what if you get another rebuttal? Because I've still, like I said, I'm an I'm an emotional, intelligent person, but I still refuse to let those emotions out because there's been so many times when it's been put right back in my face.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's real.
right?
Hey,
So
let me.
so why even bother? Why even bother? So that's the struggle, man. Like
So I
that's
want to
the
ask y'all.
struggle, man. That's the struggle right there. You know, it's like that's why so many men suffer in silence because for so long we've been told, ah, suck it up. Nobody want to hear that. You know, a lot of men haven't been properly raised and shown the way, and
Yeah.
a lot of it stems from the men in our life or lack thereof, right? Or the mother wanting to play both parts, and so the fact that you're a young boy, she wants to be the hardcore as opposed to being the loving, nurturing woman that she, you know what I mean, that giving you that soft touch. She wants to give you that hard edge because you are a boy, but not realizing that you need that soft touch. I need that soft touch from my mom. you
Mhm.
know? So it's tough, man. Like suffering in silence is one of the toughest things that I've had to deal with all my life. And yes, I'm a strong man. I'm a strong person, but there's not too much that I don't regret it. I don't regret life at all. But if I can go back and change, if there was something that I could change, it would be to be able to receive that love, that softness, that understanding, that ability of somebody actually caring about how I felt. Straight up. So yeah, man, it's tough.
I want to ask y'all something, man, because you said something, and y'all can agree or disagree. But I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to cut you, but I kind of wanted to just touch on something you said, and I think we all said it before. Like we got accustomed for so long at whatever age it started. We got accustomed to not saying nothing to the point where, again, from my perspective, it became a good thing. Us not being able to articulate ourselves and the why behind it, we got so good at not doing that, it became a trait in us that we found as a good thing. And it was like, oh, I'm not emotional. And yeah, you aren't emotional on the outside, but you're very emotional on the inside. You feel me? So, and it's crazy because it's like, damn, Ty, you just said it. Like you 10 years older than me. I'm 35. God bless, God's will. In a week from now or so, more days, I'll be 36. Jesse, I'm pretty sure you older than me, which we all know. But my point is, we basically just said the same thing. So, am I on the right track though? Like we got so good at not verbalizing or learning how to articulate ourselves, we now look at not being emotional as a good thing because we got so good at hiding what was needed to come out. Do y'all agree with that?
Totally.
Absolutely.
Totally agree. Yeah, 100%, man. Because at the end of the day, man, we all three of us, even him too as well. We are black fathers, bro. We have kids, bro. Like shout out to all of y'all, man, because we all got relationships with our children, and it's up to us to stop that shit now. You know what I'm saying? Like Ty, like what you were saying, man. Your son, bro, he could call, hey pops, this is what's going on, bro. Like this, but you gave him that direct time, like that direct line for him to be able to feel comfortable enough to pick up the phone and call you and say, hey, what you think about this? You get what I'm saying? We didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't have fathers in the household. I had one in the household with me, but he didn't know his dad, so he kind of like that was almost like a punishment for me
Yep.
because you didn't know your pops. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know how to love. You didn't know how to do none of this. So the experience come from whenever you are placed within it. And now you have to like direct your changing and all of your thoughts towards that kid. You know what I mean? And just make sure that that shit don't go on them because they're gonna go to his kids and then to his kids and to. So who gonna stop the curse, man? You know. So I give my son now. He's 8 years old, bro. I give him that liberty. Hey, bro, you can come to me with anything, bro. Let's talk about it, little man. Or a lot of times I go to him. Hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? what's up, little man? Like even his conversation, you'll be surprised of what he's holding inside. You know what I'm saying? But all it is just like a lot of talking. Just talk to them and understand what they're dealing with, because that baton has been passed from us. So we can't use the excuse no more about not knowing like how to kill all this, man, because we got social media, we got all kind of motivational things that people put out all the time. We got mentors that we look up to and everything to teach us like, hey man, this is how we need to kill this curse and give it to our kids so they can be able to have that lifeline. You know what I'm saying? So every kid should be able to feel comfortable enough to come to you and say, hey, this is a problem that I'm dealing with, you know, and if they're not, you got to figure out how to reach them. You know what I'm saying? Because they're all they doing is what they've been taught, bro. So it's like I use the excuse all the time, man. My dad didn't talk to me, so I don't.
Yo, you freeze up on us?
There you
Like
go.
nobody cares, bro. And that's what you said earlier, man. Nobody cares. So how can you make your child feel that way, or how can you feel that way? Because it's like now I know I got bros I can talk to. You feel me? So I don't have to hold, like I'm not holding this shit no more. It don't
Right,
feel good to hold it, bro. Like it
right.
don't, like I said, your body start changing, you start going through headaches, all this other shit, bro. It's not worth it. So and another thing I want to bring out before I go off with that, but another word that we describe is weakness, right? It's a weakness if you tell your story. It's a weakness if that person cannot be there for you for your emotions. And like what you said, Todd, that was a great point that you brought out, because I was gonna bring it up too, about like we have to have that person that we could trust with that information. And just like what you said, you throwing it back in my face, you're not that person that I was supposed to give this information to. So
Yep.
that's for us to understand too. We got to choose our friends wisely. We got to choose the people around us wisely. Everybody in your circle, you need to choose that wisely, because you might need that person to let this shit out to. You feel me? So if I can't trust you with that information, like dog, I'm gonna keep holding it in. Like, so what are you around me for if you can't help me like get through certain situations? And I ain't talking about trying to give me money and all. No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about, hey, bro, how your mental, bro? You know what I'm saying? How your mental doing? Like you need to pick and choose people wisely who you got in your circle, and who, like, I thank God for the people that's in my circle right now. You know what I'm saying? Basically, because I know I have that avenue to go. I'll be able to go to. You know, so that it's just a deep conversation, man, because we gotta watch what we pass to our kids, bro. Because they watching, they looking, and they observing at all times. So shout out to you, brothers. Shout out to all the men out there that's doing the same thing. And it's never too late, man. You can always talk to your kid, man. Sit them down, talk to them, see how they doing, man. You know what I'm saying? And Ty, you weren't even aware of what you was doing, dog. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Until you got older, and then you like, damn, bro. Like my son can come to me, bro. Like that is so dope, bro. Like a lot of time, like I can call my pops right now and ask him about things that he like. We don't have nothing in common, bro. Nothing. So it's like I can call him, say, hey man, what you think about this? But he's not gonna tell me, hey son, you need to do this, bro.
Yeah. No, that's real. Damn. You freeze.
You froze on us.
You froze on us.
Oh shit. There
You
we go.
back. You back. Nah,
You about to say something, Ty? Go ahead.
yeah, man, like it's it's a double-edged sword, right? So kind of speaking to what the question that you asked, Corey, when it comes to when it comes to it's a double. It's one of two things, right? So like if it's like they say, two kids of an alcoholic parent, you're gonna go one of two ways. You're either gonna see the way that the way that they're acting and follow, or see the way that they're acting and go the exact opposite, right? So that's really up to you. Like it's really literally up to you. You know what I mean? Like you can. It just it really depends on how you. I guess you would say how it affects you internally. Like, but at the end of the day, it's really up to you. Like, you are the deciding factor. You can see, like, so you can have an alcoholic dad, or parents who are on drugs or whatever, and you can either follow in their footsteps or say, you know what, I don't want to be nothing like that, and go the exact opposite. It's the same with having a father or not having a father, right? So, like I said, if you have a father, you could be the exact way, like you said, just the fact that your dad didn't have a father in his life, he would took the route of just being, like, well, shit, I didn't have a father in my life, so I'm not going to talk to my son. I'm not going to do the things with my, you know what I mean? As opposed to the way that I looked at it, it was like, I'm going to be everything that I wanted my father to be to me. The fact, you know what I mean? Like if I had would have had a father, this is how I would have wanted him to be with me. And so that's why I was aware of what I was doing, honestly, because like I said, I knew what I missed out on. I knew what I missed, what I lacked myself as a young man. So I was like, so that's why I provided everything that I lacked, I put into my son. Like made sure that I gave him life lessons, made sure that I told him I loved him, make sure what I mean, I would hug him, and you know what I mean, because that's the kind of love that I needed from, would have loved from my father. So it's one of those things, and like you said, Corey, it's a matter of, when you don't when you when you don't receive those type of things, and you've done this for so long, in a sense, like I said, it almost becomes like you feel like that's a superpower, right? Like, yeah, I'm not emotional, like I don't deal with my emotions and stuff like that. So it's almost like you feel like it's a superpower, when actuality it's your kryptonite. When actuality it's your kryptonite. Because if somebody gets if the right person, though, that's the thing about it. If the right person gets in there, you can be broken down. But it has to be someone that truly, and we can feel it. You know when somebody's true about, what I mean, their care for you, about them wanting to know your ins and outs, and if they're not being real too, like if they're trying to, what I mean, use it just to get close. Nah, you can feel when somebody's really real. So um when that person gets close and they get in, and they tap that, you know they tap that in case of emergency break glass. You know what I'm saying? When it shatters, that's when we as men, that's why it's so important to choose the right woman. That's why it's so important to choose the right partner, because the wrong one, we're not emotionally based, bro. We're not emotionally based. Like we're logically based humans. That's where we differ from the woman. So when we do finally open up that them floodgates of emotions, if it's the wrong one and we get burnt, the pain and how long or how much it takes for us to rein that back in, to bring that back in, oh man, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it can take a lot out of us. And then we're right back where we started from, not letting no one in, right? That's that cycle. That's that cycle. That's why you got to be careful. It's like, yeah, you definitely that's a double-edged sword as well. It's like, they say, when you get hurt, you got to get back right back out there and allow yourself to love again and do all that kind of shit. But that's tough. That's one of the hardest things because it took so much out of you. It took so much out of you. So when you finally got it back, you ain't trying to just let it go again. Like it's like, but on the same spec, that's a double-edged sword as well because it's like if you don't, you won't ever find it. You won't ever find it. If you don't, if you're not in that I don't want to say that energy yet. If you're not in that energy of allowing somebody to love you, you won't ever receive that love that you truly need. But how do you get back in? How do you get back out into that vibe, into that energy when you've been hurt so much? Like it's tough, man. It's tough. So, it's really, and then that leads into the like I guess what I'm saying, the closing piece. Like, how do you find strength in that suffering?
Mhm.
How do you find that strength in that suffering? Where does it come from? How do you get back to not necessarily who you are, because who you are is that person that's covered that up, who's kept it under wraps. How do you release that strength and say, you know what? I'm gonna let it be. Like if this that didn't work out, and not just in a relationship, we're just talking about this in life in general. But when it comes to expressing that that suffering to someone, it's typically going to be the one that's in your corner, the one that you love, right? So how do you allow yourself to get to that point? What are some things that you can, what I mean, how do you guys feel that you can get back to that point of, yeah, you've been suffering, but you know what? I found my strength, and now I'm going to keep moving, keep pushing.
I know for me, I just had this conversation with a very, very close friend of mine. I think I've been knowing her for mm, at this point like 15 years. And she's going through a situation with her dude where things happen. Didn't happen in each other's favor. But now she's in the space of like limbo. And I just got to thinking like what we as men go through is kind of universal, unfortunately. And it sucks. And it sucks for both parties. It sucks for the person who's going through it with us. It sucks for the person within ourselves. But I think for me, just again, me personally going through a similar situation that I won't go into details and tell her business, but the solution to finding like some type of balance within that pain is awareness. You have to first be aware of who you are, right? As men, as black men, a lot
Facts.
of things that we need to do is sit by ourselves and ask ourselves those hard questions. And it's like, hey, outside of Corey the father, outside of Corey the husband or boyfriend, or outside of Corey the son, outside of Corey the friend, who am I? Who am I? What makes me happy? What makes me sad? What are my requirements and things of that nature? And once you can sit with yourself and answer some of those questions along with many others. And you start to answer them. And I'm pretty sure you may, dig up some shit that you don't want to deal with, but that that solitude, that peace, and that harmony that you find within yourself by now asking yourself these questions, you start to be a little bit less stressed out about, what people may say about you, a little less worried about how, unapologetic you are. You start to care less about, you know, I'm going to speak my mind, and I'm going to speak it very elegantly, very much so direct, but I want to make sure that when the person receives what I'm saying, that they can actually respond to what I'm saying versus what they heard. And that awareness now teaches as men, again, throughout all that suffering and pain, we need to express ourselves. It teaches us that. But again, it starts with the awareness of self to then figure out how to articulate the issues that you're having and why you're having them. Because again, you won't find out how to voice your problems unless you know why they are a problem to begin with. So again, although it may be a heavy thing to deal with, it may be very much so, again, the situation we don't have the tools to deal with, we honestly really do have the tools. Like Jesse said, there's so much information on this internet. There's so much experience through your friends that you can soak in through that. Now, if you continue to go down the path of the less resistance and you don't want to challenge yourself, then you're not going to read those books. You're not going to talk to your friends. You're not going to open up. You're going to remain in that emotional unavailable state, and you won't find that awareness to then be able to articulate it. But again, it starts with self. If I want to be in a marriage and I want to lead of what that looks like, I have to stand on my own morals and principles to now for them to understand this is what he's operating in, for them to respect it. And if I don't budge, and if I stand 10 toes on what that is for me, I have my shit together. Like y'all said, this house is going to crumble because I'm going to crumble. But again, that awareness of self is what kind of catapults you to be able to articulate what it is that you're actually feeling. And then that part right there is how you now open up those floodgates of emotions, and you open up the safe space for the other people on the other end a little bit more defensive about.
Yeah, man. That's deep, bro. And I want to bring out from my going to my therapist, man, when she helped me out with a lot with this, man, because one thing that she brought out with channeling with your emotions, you have to understand that we all, men and women, we have that little boy, we have that little girl that's inside of us that wants to try to control how we feel, what we think, and what we do. So listening to that little man in me, like the immature kid that's inside of you, that's trying to that's crying out for all of these things, the things that they want, but you have to let them know inside, like, hey man, look, we're not doing that today. Just like what what we was talking about with our kids. Um, they have a clear understanding of when we mean business and what we do. So like I look at it from that scope too as well, just like understanding who I am as a man and what defines me, man. Because it's like whenever those negative thoughts or things that come to me, now I hurry and release that energy, bro, as fast as I can. Am I bringing it? Oh, okay. With that, working out or doing something that can channel that energy. That
Yeah, he froze up on us, Jess.
all right.
There you go. Are you back?
Y'all see me? You got it.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi tonight. They don't want this conversation out there, but we're gonna get it
It's
out there
real,
though.
yeah.
But yeah,
Come on.
that and everything that you deal with, you know what I'm saying? Just try to find that outlet or someone that you could talk to and express those feelings. You know what I'm saying? And it don't make you weak, bro. We are not no weak men that's on this live, man. You know, we are some great men, bro. We love life, we love people, but you have to understand, man, it do not make you look like a girl or whatever, man. You know, we are men at the end of the day, and we can have these type of discussions because we deliver from a lot of that stuff, man. Because we know that it's all about transforming your mind into the right thinking. You know what I'm saying? And that can help you minimize a lot of that pressure that we deal with. Is how you receive things. You know what I'm saying? So, and how you release things too as well. So release and receive at the same time.
Factory, big facts. You know, it's like you said, Corey, it's about, you have to know who you are, you know. You have to really sit down with yourself, have those, those hard conversations, ask yourself those hard questions, um, and truly listen to what the answers are. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough, but it's something that I've had to do. I've done numerous times, and I will continue to do it. It's tough though. It is a tough thing, and I think really that, like you said, that's where you find your strength, and it with me, it's something that I definitely have to work more on, because I know that I can be an overbearing person, right? I know that I can be like, no holds barred. I don't no sugarcoating, you know what I mean? Like straightforward, and a lot of people can't handle that. So I'll dim, as I say, I'll dim my light, so to speak, because I know a lot of people can't take that. But I have to allow myself to be who I am and let the cards fall where they may. Because at the end of the day, if I continue to curb those feelings, those emotions, those, you know what I mean? Like it's only going to, it's like a powder keg. It's only going to explode internally. And it's like I don't do it to the effect of where I used, I mean, there was a time when I was young, I literally had to, like, I had to change my diet because I was such a, like, my gut was so messed up because I kept so much in. I had to change my diet. I couldn't eat fried foods. I had to eat only baked stuff because, like, my stomach was so unsettled, you know. But as I grew older, and you know, I'm a lot better when it comes to that. But I still, like I said, I know how I can be, so I'll curb myself. I won't be as outspoken, or, you know, I still don't sugarcoat things. Like, if you ask me a question, if you if there's something that you want to know, that I'm going to tell you straight up how it is. You know what I mean? But there's certain things, especially with the people that I love. I've Like I said, I jumped down off that coffee table because, like I said, life has been a series of coffee tables. Like Kanye gave that analogy, which is a great analogy. But that's where I feel like the strength will come from, throughout from the suffering. It's a matter of just fully allowing myself to to say, hey, you know what? This is what it is, man. Like this is you do it out of, you don't do it out of malice. Like, you know what I mean? Certain people will say things or do things out of, like I said, out of ill will, out of malice, out of, wanting to just being a bad person. But I don't have that nature. It's like if I was a football coach, I'd be one of the loudest coaches on the sideline. Like one of those type of get your head out your ass, you know what I'm saying? What are you doing? You know damn well you ain't supposed to be making that play type coach. You know what I mean? But I'm not that way because I know I can see your potential. I can see the greatness in you that you don't see in yourself, right? So that's just the kind of the the gist of it. But yeah, man, like to find that strength in that suffering is a matter of, like you said, Corey, allowing yourself to be you. Like we've all had, like we've all said, we've all lived a tough life. We've all been through things that we wouldn't wish upon our worst enemy, right? So, but even still, we got to be who we are, man. As men, good people, like you said, Jess. We're all upstanding men, but we got to let ourselves be 100, and then because that's when you find your tribe. You know what I'm saying? That's when you find your tribe, really. You can't find your tribe unless you are truly being 100. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I appreciate you, brothers, man, because we we didn't meet each other until we were on a certain wavelength. We had to be on a certain wavelength for us to even connect, right? Like that's just how it is. Like you meet people where you are, and depending on the value of that relationship will determine how long that relationship will last or how fruitful it is. But it, it, if you're not who you are, if you covering up and I'm saying that I'm not, because I know what I just previously said. I st I still have the best interest of when I'm talking to my peoples. I'm still, you know what I mean? Like I can read people so well that that's one of those situations where it's like I feel like Neo in the Matrix. Once he became the one, once he realized who he was, once he realized he was the one, he was able to see the Matrix for what it was. It wasn't until that moment once he finally realized he was the one, that's when he was able to whip Agent Smith's ass with one hand, get him out my face. You know what I'm saying? It was a wrap. Get him out of here. You know.
Yeah.
But you got to know who you are. Straight up, man. And like I said, that's when you find your strength in that in the
Yep.
suffering. Is when you know who you are and you're able to express it. But even to the point where it's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna hold that back, a little bit because you know what certain people can and can't handle.
Word up.
It's not a bad thing. So
You said something, bro. Kind of at the end. A lot of what we went through, we wouldn't wish it upon our worst enemies, like the feeling that we feeling. But when you
mhm.
think about it, a lot of our enemies, look just like us. Whenever we get into a pickle, especially man to man type of situation, because we're not, physically fighting women. When we get into those kind of situations, the men look just like us. And I bring that up because again, just finding some type of balance in everything that we're going through. So that's right there. Jesse, you said it. It was like both male and female, this thing called life. No one will ever be perfect at doing it, right? Because we're like a tree.
Sure. What is up with the connection tonight,
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
man? Yeah,
It's been choppy all day.
it has.
Man. But yeah, male and female, we doing this thing called life with no real blueprint. None one of us will ever become perfect at this thing called life. So that right there lets you know that in regards to judging the next person's actions, when again, we both know we'll never reach perfection, that just lets you know, like, okay, well, I need to be a little less concerned about what they're doing to me and more so what I'm doing to myself. And Nipsey says something in one of his skits on one of his albums where he was like, as a person in the hood, we typically we combat with people, and when we go to another neighborhood, the dude that we looking for, that we find as a threat to our clique or to our set or to our gang, that dude looked just like me. He dressed like me, he walked like me, and he talked like me. But when you think about it, though, it's like, well, damn. So I'm basically, again, like you said, my worst enemy, if it's on a set, that man look like me. Not only is it that, but it's like, well, that just tells you, like, bro, do you hate yourself? Are you willing to go gun for gun, blow for blow to fight another person that look just like you, all because of what? Because internally, like you just said, Ty, you wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy, but your worst enemy is somebody that look just like you. So how can you then sit around and be like, dog, is this how it's supposed to be? It ain't. It ain't supposed to be like that way. And then again, when it comes to our other half, our safe space when it comes to women, they go through similar situations just from a different perspective. It may be from more of an emotional perspective because that's kind of just how they are created DNA wise, but those emotional situations they still learning from too. So it's just crazy, bro, when you think about things like that. And you said it, and it made me think about that skit. And it's like, dog, we really forever growing. We forever learning, and we forever, you know, care the soil that we plant the seeds in. So again, the moment you become a little bit aware of who you are, now you kind of understand why this brother over there, you can, like you said, you can sense a person's trauma, you can sense a person's energy, and all that is just bottled up emotions, unhealed childhood trauma. But what do we do to fix it? How do we fix that trauma within ourselves? How if we get
Come on.
we come from the image of God, and Jesus this and that and the third, and Jesus died on the cross to save our sins, and forever will be repaying for our sins because he died on the cross for our sins and all that kind of stuff, right? So if we just going off of that, our sins are already forgiven. We are created in the image of a God. We have women who give life, which is a form of creation, but yet I'm fighting the person that looks like me and I'm fighting against the person that's basically created me. Where they do that at? What's the point in all of that? And again, it's again, you said something, bro, like I said, and I kind of just went left with it. It ain't really about a solution. That's just more of the awareness part of it. It's just like that shit is crazy. And if we all was able to recognize that, again, the man and the women, we
Man. This is heavy, man. This is heavy.
Very good.
it froze.
Yeah, it froze up on us, but like I said, we just bringing that fire, man.
But
You know what
we
I'm saying?
did so many lives,
Yeah,
can't keep up, you know?
yeah. It froze because we're bringing that heat. They said, hold on, we got to cool them off, man. We got to cool them off. They're bringing too much heat, so we got to cool them
Damn,
off. Hold on. We
great.
got to cool them off. Nah, man, like, this is a great convo, man. I'm glad we had it because too many of us out there are suffering in silence and we don't need to be. We don't need to be. Um, so whatever it takes for you brothers out there, you know, come to to whatever understanding that you need to, but realize that, you don't gotta suffer in silence, man. You do not have to suffer in silence.
Thanks.
Find, like I said, reach out to us, reach out to somebody that you can trust, and just know that you are valid, you are valuable, you are needed, you are loved, and everything's gonna be all right. You know, you just got to know that within yourself, within, down in your heart, that everything's gonna be all right, man. Just keep pushing through and keep just keep giving you everything, man. That's what it comes down to. You just gotta give life your everything. You just gotta give it your all, man. It's like I said in in my truths, man. You gotta die empty, you know. Give life your all. So when you look back, you can be like, yeah, the tube is empty. You know what I mean? Like there ain't nothing more to give. I gave it everything, you know. Um, don't suffer alone, man. Do not suffer in silence. Do not suffer alone. Like Corey said, man, have them conversations, those needed conversations with yourself. Come to your own understanding. Come to your own terms. Come to your own reality, and just keep living life, man. Keep pushing through. Keep pushing through. So that's my final words. Anybody else got anything they want to say before we wrap?
Man, you done spoke it all, brother. um, just stay aware, man. And like I said, man, just keep preaching to these youngsters too, man. And make sure that, you teach them not to hold things in, and only give it out to people that you could trust and everybody that you feel that, that's ready for that combo. You know what I mean? And that's all it is, man. It's just like, but all the unwanted pressures, just make sure that you release them as soon as they come in. So release it.
Yes, sir. What about you, Key? They freezing us up. Say it again.
No, I was just saying, just live life through your own lens and, have those conversations with yourself. You'll be surprised how much you find out when you talk to yourself. So that's it, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We appreciate y'all, man, for tapping in with us. Shout out to our brother Hen Hen who couldn't make it with us here today, but like I said, he'll be back with us next week. And he was here helping us power through this convo anyway. So um, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
So until next time, you got the mindset, Complex Key, Jay Hunter, the Bro Foundation. We gone.
Later.
Peace,
Peace.
y'all.